Hey there, hey, it's Michelle with Brilliant Quest, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 friend types you need in your life. It's going to be basically how we build the essential squad. So come on in, let's get started. And I want to ask you, have you realized how important your friends are? Or have you said, I need a friend who I can do XYZ with? Well, I'm going to tell you, study after study is showing that more and more people are figuring out that they need more friends in their lives. Case in point, people who unfortunately get divorced, especially if they get divorced in their mid to later years, 35 and up, once they make that huge transition, they need to cultivate new friendships or resurrect some that may have gone by the wayside because they were so caught up in the business of doing family and relatives. And so this is part of the Brilliant Quest where we're going to be working on strategically understanding what types of friends you have and how you need to shore it up, or how you need to start appreciating and discovering what you need to be for your friends. Okay, so there are 5 types that we're going to talk about, and I'm looking at my notes, y'all. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing, because I want to make sure I give you everything. So I'm going to call them out, then we'll go through them. Okay. So the 5 friends or friend types, meaning, some of your friends might possess more than one of these typings. Okay. So here we go. You want a confidant, and that is, like it says, you want someone who you can talk to, who is non-judgmental, and who can hold a space when you just need to talk about something big, and you don't have to worry about them telling others or using it against you or making fun of you because of it. The next one is, and these are not in any type of hierarchy, they're just types of friends that you would do well to have in your life, and you would be well to provide that in someone else's life. Okay, the next one is the motivator. Oh yeah, that's the cheerleader. That's the bake the cake and hold the pom-poms for you. That's the one to be like, you got this. When you're feeling unmotivated, they come through and they really help you. Okay, so then we have the reality check friend. Now, I found that the reality check and the confidant can be one and the same person. But the reality check person is the one who is going to be kind instead of nice to you. And I've talked about the difference, but just, for sake of review, a nice person is someone who is going to be pleasant, who does not want to hurt your feelings, or unbeknownst to you, or maybe them, they want to manipulate your response to them by always saying what you want to hear. Unlike the kind person who is going to forego their need for you to think of them in a good light, and they're going to tell you the truth, hopefully in a tactful way. But they're going to be the ones like, nah, that ain't it. I love you, but you wrong. That's your reality check person, and we need them, because if all you have are sycophantic worshipers, because that can happen, it's not going to go well for you, and that's not really a true friendship. That's some power dynamic stuff that it's very convoluted. Just stay away from that. All right. And then we're going to have the fun loving ally. Now that's your road dog, where you go and do fun stuff. They're always adventurous. They're always ready to do something. And a lot of times they're going to be the ones suggesting, hey, why don't we do this? Or this is in town, those types of things, depending on the personality, because you could be, that person for someone. And then this one is the legacy friend. This is the person who has known you for a while, and they know the real you. They know the you underneath all of the things that have happened in your life. All right, so let me recap them again. And you know how we do here. We're going to delve into them a little bit each, one by one. And then you want to stick to the end, because I'm going to help you with some tips on what you can do starting now. Doesn't cost you anything to get your friendships tight and right. Okay. All right. So make sure you watch to the end. Okay. So we're going to start with the confidant. Okay. So now the confidants are your rare people. And the reason why they're your rare people is because they have this ability to stay anchored in themselves and not lose themselves in what's happening to you. And what I mean by this is, when you have a person who is able to hold a confidence, hold a trust, they have, I don't want to say that they have issues. It's just that they understand through pain what it means to have been betrayed, to have had someone mess with their trust, and therefore they value it. They're the kind of person that, say for instance, you have mutual friends, and another friend comes to them and says, hey, what's going on with Michelle? Did she say anything to you? They're going to be like, girl, you're going to have to get with Michelle. She seemed fine to me, but ask it yourself. I'm pretty sure she'll tell you, right? They're not going to betray a trust. They also are really good at understanding priority of what they can share and what they can't, because there are some times where a confidant is going to need to take the information and help you. There have been times where and let me tell you the way I know this is when I used to do group work, and inevitably you're going to have people who are like this, who are really good at keeping their mouths shut. A lot of times you won't even know who their friends are because they value this so much. And through my interactions with some of these people, they were holding secrets for people that were eating them up inside. And there's a saying that says we're only as healthy as the secrets we hold. Now, there are good secrets. I do believe there are good secrets, but unfortunately, a lot of them are bad. And when you have confidants, they're so good at holding these secrets that sometimes they take on the weight of them themselves, and it starts to ravage them. So if you're blessed to have a confidant, understand that they're so good at being your friend in that way that you might want to be like, look, be mature and say, look, if I ever get into a dangerous area where you think I might need more help than you can give, let me know. And then we'll talk about where we go from there, and the reason why I'm saying all of these types of things is because you say, oh yeah, Michelle, I love a confidant. And then you are faced with, because they're so good to talk to, that you're faced with, what kind of heaviness am I putting on them? They're right now at the time of this recording, there's this whole thing about trying to make sure that people don't end up in relationships where they are friends, but one of them has been turned into the unwitting therapist. And that's not fair to do something like that. So I'm not trying to say that confidants are all, gloomy and, they don't want to hear your stuff. But what I am, I'm sorry, you guys. But what I am saying is that you want to gauge and understand how much is too much. And if you've got a good confidential friend, try doing that for them too. Try listening and holding a space for them as well. Don't let it be where the only time you want to talk to them is when you got something deep and you can't tell everybody else. And so you got to reach out to this friend and you only dump heavy stuff on them. Mix it up. All right. I cannot tell you how much it means to someone who is a confidant for you to just contact them every now and again and say, hey, I don't want nothing. I'm calling to check on you. How you doing? And then work for their trust and understand and let them know by your actions, your words, and your deeds that I'm not going to betray your trust. I am not going to put you out there bad. I'm not going to judge you or any of that. All right. So that's the confidant. And like I said, they're really rare. And you might be saying, I'm the confidant. And if you are, do yourself a favor and stop internalizing and not releasing what your friends bring to you, because it's important that you understand that energy don't lie and energy can compound, and trying to hold your energy and other people's energy inside is not good. So be healthy. All right, let's get on to the next one. All right, so the next one, the motivator, that's the cheerleader. And the motivator is like the fun-loving friend. The motivator is all about the positive. They are all about, let's get the win. Let's get this done. You got this. And depending on their mix, a motivator is not going to be as deep as a confidant or even a legacy friend. So when you're talking to this person, if that's what they serve in your life, do not try to get them to go deep. There are certain levels that you must be aware of when you're thinking about these. And I forgot to tell you, a confidant is going to be a deep level friend because they're going to know things about you. And I apologize for switching back to the confidant, but I forgot to say this part. A confidant, and you have a confidant because when you tell them something, you could easily put this statement in the front of it, and a confidant would be able to handle it. And this statement is, and this is one, I've used over the years to get people to get in there and deal with their stuff. I use it to get in there and deal with my stuff. And the statement is, something I wouldn't want you to know about me is, and then you say what it is. You got a real one and a confidant when you say what it is, and they're okay. All right. Like I said, you have confidants who can hold that space for you, and they'll sit with you. They'll let you cry. They'll let you talk, and they'll be like, okay, what do you want to do now? And you can have confidants who will give you good feedback. They're going to be, more like your reality check, kind of friends is going to give it to you real and raw. And like I said before, the confidant is going to be a deeper level friend. But then, like I said, you've got your motivator, and your motivator, they are connoisseurs of encouragement. They are connoisseurs of forward movement. Motivators are traditionally not going to slow the pace and sit with you like a confidant will to allow you to process and work through something. A confidant, and y'all know my allergies, so please forgive me. I guess I need to do that. Okay, anyway, a motivator is motive and motion are already inherent in their friendship type. They're about moving you forward. And I'm telling you this because do you realize when you have these 5 components, you can quickly understand who I need to talk to when, who I need to spend time when, and I'm going to tell you, there are some unicorns out there that are the 5 in 1. Oh yes, there are people that you're going to see. They encompass every single one of these, and they're worth their weight in gold. Treat them right, because it's a privilege. It's not your right to have those kinds of people. Okay. But anyway, the motivator is the cheerleader. They're about encouragement. They're about moving you forward to a positive. They're most likely going to keep it surface. So don't try to go deep with them if that's the main purpose they serve in your friendship squad. Okay. It's kind of like once you've confessed to your confidant, got your reality check from the friend that's straight no chaser, then you can move to the motivator, and because you got your healing and you ready to go. Okay. All right. So speaking of the reality check person, now, like I said before, they're going to be really honest with you. They're going to give you feedback, a lot of times unsolicited, because that's just how they roll. But a reality check person too, when I'm talking about that, make sure that they can get as good as they give, because you don't want a reality check person who is a nagger and complainer and a fault finder. There is a difference. And if you're saying, yeah, that's the friend that always gets me straight, but you don't feel empowered when they get you straight, sometimes you actually feel like they've put you down, like you're lower than them, like they have a status above you. It's almost like tisk, 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 you poor unfortunate soul, let me get you straight. That is not a reality check person. And I want to just let you know that they can hide behind the guise of, girl, I'm just being your friend, I'm just being real with you. But again, if their feedback, if their quote unquote honesty has a tendency, more often than not, to put you down, belittle you, to tell you things that almost make you feel like you're gaslighted. And when you're being gaslit, when you have to go and ask other people, do I do this? Am I this person? And they're looking at you like, no. And it's somebody who is willing to tell you the truth. When you find that, understand that is not your reality check person. That is a person who has some unresolved wounds, and they're bleeding all over the place because hurt people hurt people. And you may want to be like, you got to go. And now you know that your reality check position has opened. All right. Don't forget to stay to the end, because we're going to be dealing with how to find these people for you. Okay. All right. So the next one is, and I love this one, the fun-loving ally, the fun-loving friend. Now, this fun-loving friend looks different depending on what part of your life you're in. Okay. So this fun-loving person, they're the comedic person that when you need to just laugh your butt off and you just need to get away from the cuckoo-ness of life, they are the friend that when you call them or you hang out with them, your stomach hurts because you are laughing and having so much fun. And so they can be that person. They can also be the person who is the adventurous one, like, oh, I got tickets for this, let's go see. The fun-loving person is going to usually challenge you. They're going to challenge you to get outside of your norm. They're going to be the ones to help you expand. And so they are the next level down from the motivator. You would think the fun-loving person is going to be shallow. What makes them fun-loving is their ability to decipher and discern what you need. They are there to help, like the motivator, encourage you, but they take it further, where they're the ones that help you to get out of your funk. They're the ones that do not allow you to remain stagnant. They are the ones that help you to continue to grow. So unlike the motivator, who is your rah-rah cheerleader, this one, and they have many different facets that I love. That's why I say I love the fun-loving ally, because they can actually be your life coach. They can be like, I noticed you've been staying in the house too much. It's time for you to get out. We're going to the state fair, or something like that. And it is chef's kiss that they have a way of keeping you excited while they are sometimes surgically helping you. You have a fun-loving friend when you get done interacting with them and you say, oh, I needed this. That is the power of a fun-loving friend, and you need them. And like I said before, they can be, one and the same, because you wouldn't think this, but there's an odd pairing that I have found happens with a lot of fun-loving folk. They can also be reality check people. Honey, why you laughing? They'll come at you and be like, we doing this because. And then they will tell you, this is not you. You got to get out of this. We got to do better. That kind of thing. That fun-loving person is it's almost deceptively so that you're so busy laughing and enjoying yourself that they're very therapeutic, that they're very needful for the soul, that they are the ones, like I said, who are able to discern and decipher where you are and how to do what they do best at bringing you along and helping you to grow. Now, fun-loving people that I just described are your friends. There are also surface level people who try to be fun-loving people, but what they are people who just need a sycophantic hanger-on to go with them when they couldn't get their real friends to do something. Beware of them. These are the people, and they'll slip up and tell you who they are by saying things like, I had these tickets to go to this concert and my other friend couldn't make it, so you want to go? And it's last minute. And they only ask you to do stuff and hang out with them because you're the consolation prize, or you're the second or third choice. So those are not the fun-loving allies I'm talking about. I am talking about those true gems who are committed to you in relationship, to learn you, spend enough time around you so that they are able to leave you better than they found you. And it's an altruistic calling. It's where they're not necessarily doing it for them. They're doing it for the love of you and the love of the friendship. So do not get those two together. There are certain relationships where y'all only hang out, but you don't talk in between. Y'all only do stuff together because that's what y'all like to do. That's not the fun-loving ally I'm talking about. It's all about elevating our friendships by being very strategic and intentional of who we have in our squad, in our circle. All right. So reviewing, we've talked about 4 of them. We've talked about the confidant. That's deep level. We've talked about the motivator. That's surface level. We've talked about the reality check person. And that one is, I usually like to keep them mid, because they're very blunt and they're not going to listen to you talk a whole lot. They will let me stop you right there. Boo boo, you got to stop all of this. They're like that. They are to the point kind of people. So we put them mid level. And then you have the fun-loving ally that I just talked about. All right. So the last one is the legacy friend. Now I'll just go on and tell that I'm blessed because the majority of my friends could be classified as legacy. My average friendship is 20 plus years. It just is. I've been really blessed. I have the best friends. And y'all, Michelle loves you because I know you watch it because y'all watch. Thank you. We'll talk this weekend. Okay. So anyway, my friends are, oh my God, my friends are so awesome. And I have friends who have known me all the way from when I was 6 to where I was 16, 18. I'm in my mid 50s. So 27 and 32. And like I said, average 20 plus years. So they know some things. And when you know, I am blessed with unicorns. Oh yes, because my friends inhabit all of these, all of them. They're, oh my gosh. When I tell you, like, I have a friend, she'll be like, they just, because we love seafood, they just opened a new seafood joint. We got to go check it out. And I'm like, I bet I'm there. I've got a friend who travels and she'll be like, we got to go take a trip. We were supposed to take one, but it didn't work out, but we're going to get that trip. Okay, Cindy, we're going to get that trip. And then I have one who she is confidant. All of them are confidant, reality check. Let me just put it this way. Our mothers were friends from when they were teens. So she knows me. And when I was looking at this, because statistics are showing that 50% of people past the age of 40 have complaints about social alienation, and that they're talking about the heartbreak disease of being lonely is taking people out of here. It's masking itself through other ailments like the psychosomatic ailments that attack the body, but it's because of a lonely heart. And you used to just think it was a broken heart that was dealing with romance, but no, it can be that, but it can also be loneliness because no one is there to have these kinds of levels of friendship with you. I am very, like I said, I am very blessed in that I have these. My own siblings treat my friends like a part of the family because I've been friends with them for so long. I'll talk to a sister and they'll be like, well, how is so-and-so doing? Tell them I said, hey, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. When's the last time they were home? Those kinds of things. And so they're actually part of the family where my siblings know them. Do you know how powerful that is when your friends have the respect of your family and your family co-signs on, yeah, they're a real one, that kind of thing. Like I'll have a sibling be like, well, tell so-and-so I said, hey, I was thinking about her and blah, 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 and this kind of stuff. Just amazing, to have friends that have known you longer than your nieces and nephews have been alive, some of them, that kind of thing. So anyway, these legacy friends, I truly believe that the reason why my closest friends all exhibit this unicornness, if you will, of being a confidant, a motivator, the real one, being the fun-loving ally, is because they are legacy friends. Okay, so I promised you that I was going to give you some insights on how to evaluate, shore up, and even add new friends. So let's get into it real quick. And thank you so much for sticking with me. All right, so here we go. All right, so I have this 5-part way of going about this, and I'm going to read them out to you, and then we'll talk about them really quick. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come and tell me in the comments, what kind of friend mix do you have? Are there friends that you need to get? Are there friendship elements that you didn't realize you needed until now? I need you to know, because this is part of your brilliant quest. You cannot strategically build the life you want by the mind that you need unless you are in good company. Remember, we don't do this alone. If you've watched some of my other videos about motivations and stuff, we talk about Alfred Adler, the psychologist, as the individual psychology. He was the one who was the antithesis of Freud, where Freud was like, everything is because of your mom, your childhood, and sex. And Adler was like, no, it's not. Everybody can start from this point and they can do things. They just really need to concentrate on dealing with their inferiority complex and working on having a healthy superiority complex. And that has nothing to do with other people. It's about how you deal with the inferior parts. That's why people are all about personal development and improvement, about education and bettering themselves, because Alice said that it's the inferiority complex within us that drives us to do better. All right. And so because we all got some Adlerian psychology machinations in us, Alice said, you can't do it alone. You are as good individualistically as you are in your community. Okay. So this is why you want to make sure that you don't just say, oh, I'm a lone wolf. You really? Last time I checked, when the wolf is excommunicated from the pack, he dies really soon. So much so that when a male lion is kicked out of the pride, unless he go find another pride, he died really soon. So if you're looking at these powerful apex predators that need community, don't you think we need it too? Okay. All right. So here we are. So here are the 5. Now I just tried to make an alliteration so that it would make sense and you'd be able to, remember it. Okay. So this is what you want to do. You want to resurface. You want to repurpose. You want to respect, remember, and reinvigorate. No, I'm sorry, reanimate. Y'all, my writing. But anyway, and what I did, how I came up with this is how I was taught when I was learning how to handle group dynamics, group training dynamics and the like. And this was what I started using over the years to become a good friend to my friends. Okay. And so, resurface, when you're talking about either building a friendship or imbuing a friendship with you being a better friend, you want to resurface. And think about this. Have you ever had a refurbishing project? Maybe you were doing some chairs or a table and you had to first resurface it, meaning you had to strip away all the old shellac and all the stuff and get it down to its basic core. And then you had to resurface it so that it's primed, it's new, it's ready to go, it's ready for use, it's appealing, and all of that. I'm going to go and use this. I know this sounds weird, but I have always thought about the evolutions of my interactions with myself and with others in terms of shedding an old skin, whether, you're thinking of a snake skin or whatever, but peeling off the old skin that is no longer of good use. I mean, it can do, but is it really the best? And so when you're resurfacing, that's what it is. You're shedding off old skin so that the new can come and help you to stay on it, stay useful and purposeful. Because if you are in a friendship that is stale and old, and neither one of you have had the impetus in years to upgrade it, that's a friendship that has passed its time, because both of you have to be mutually willing to continuously resurface. And the second part of resurfacing is going to be showing up, resurfacing, coming up and being there for your friends. Have you ever gotten to the point where you've taken your friends for granted or a friend for granted and you haven't talked with them in a while, and you get that little niggling in the back? I need to call so-and-so. I need to do this. That's resurfacing. That's that internal wisdom that we all have telling you, this is a real one. This is a friend that you need to spend some time working on, or either you're going to lose them or you're going to be replaced for why you were their friend. Okay. And let me say this. When you are doing your resurfacing, whether you're shedding the old skin to show back up in a meaningful way, or you're physically showing back up, make sure that you understand the timing. I'm blessed where all my friends understand that I'm not one of those we got to talk every day kind of people. And neither are they. Maybe because we're legacy friends and we've grown up together, but I can't do all of that. And there are some people that is what you require, and it's not bad. That's just how you are. And thus, you need to take that in consideration when you're either developing new friendships or trying to reconnect, because that is part of the process. You got to resurface to reconnect. And that brings me to repurpose. So we all go through life. What you are at 5 years old is not who you are at 50 years old. And so don't think that just like growing up that people don't change. Have you ever had a friend that they will never let you forget who you were in high school? They always want to take you back to that person that you weren't. And they usually do it by laughing at it. Girl, you remember when you used to blah, 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 blah. I've actually witnessed this one, and I had to talk to somebody about it. I wasn't their friend, so I ain't care. They had the nerve to joke because they knew this person when they were little. And they joked in front of this person who is a grown up. My guy, you remember that? You remember how you came over my house and you peed in the bed and my mom had to do this at the middle of the night? And the guy that it was being talked about was like, dude, when you gonna let that go? I was 5. I'm like, okay. And so, the person, I was like, oh, not cool, not cool. You're gonna lose all your friends. And that, they knowing, that I didn't mean any harm, or they accepted it and everything. And they weren't aware. And so when you are in the repurposing of your friendships, first and foremost, do your work. Ask yourself, am I not allowing my friends to be who they are now? Am I always reminding them of the worst of who they used to be? Am I not able to understand who they are now and the benefits of who they are now and what I need to do to earn the privilege of being their friend? That is very powerful, because of course, after you do that, then you're going to get really clear on how you can repurpose yourself. And therefore you can better articulate to your friends what you require in the friendship. One thing about friendships, just like romantic relationships, it is up to you to do 2 things: establish boundaries and teach people how you want and need to be loved. And so when you're looking at these friendships, you do your repurposing. And a lot of times it's going to be where you're asking them, what can I do to be a better friend? And then listen, shut up and listen, and then make the effort and get feedback. Be like, is this working for you? Because that person that wants friends must first be friendly. But the thing is folks think that friendships, especially as adults, are like they should have been as kids. You can't just go play on the playground, and because y'all ran around, screamed a whole lot, and had a lot of fun, that, oh, you're best friends now. No, it takes more, because we're more complex beings with way more experiences that we've experienced. And so it's going to take some time. And if you're lazy, your friend squad is going to result in that. You're going to have times, and like I said, this is how you know that you're resurfacing and repurposing. Because if you're not, there are going to be times when you just really want someone that you can confide in and that you're hurting and that will sit there and care about you. And you're just calling anybody. You're just going down your phone calling people or texting them to see if they're available, and they're not. Or there's nobody to do that. And so you're trying to talk to your plant, your cat, your dog, your kids, your husband, your spouse. Yeah. That's a wake-up call that it's time to start doing these things. Okay, so once you resurface, let's scrape all that old stuff off. Then you repurpose, you grow up, you get into the now, and you realize who you are and who they are in the now. Not who they used to be 10, 20, 50 years ago, but who they are now, and you do the next thing, and that is to respect them. So respect, yes, of course, is giving honor. But let's look at what respect really, really means. Respect means to inspect deeper, or again, with more intent. To respect someone is to see them anew, and then to take that information and make changes to yourself. When you get into the habit of respecting your friends, you will stop having it where you take them for granted, where you are kinder and nicer to a stranger than you are to them, and where you are not phoning it in and just being lazy, to where the only time you talk to them and have conversations is to update them on what you got going on. When is the last time that you sent a text or a call, or text in today's world is totally fine, where you say, hey, just checking on you. I hope all is well. I don't need anything, but it's all about you. I want to check in on you. You're doing that. Hopefully you're doing that. And if you're not, start doing it. You're doing that so that you can respect them. You'll be amazed at what happens when you develop a habit of doing this. People know that you mean it. And they don't just say, fine. You'll get a text back that'd be like, okay, well, this happened, and this happened. And then they'll usually say something like, real busy right now, but let's chat soon, or let's chat on the weekend, or let's do this or do that, right? And it gets to where your relationship with these friends is going to be deep. And then you will find that you don't just have a friend that's just there for motivation. You'll start to have friends that take on more, or if not all, of these characteristics. All right. So then the next one after respect is to remember. And to remember is not just about your memory. It is what the word actually means, to remember yourself accordingly, to continue the friendship. There are going to be ebbs and flows in how you act in friendships. There are going to be times when you're the one in need. There are going to be times when they're the one in need. There are going to be times when you're having a good time, they might not be, or you're having the time, good time or bad time at the same. But what you always, and I say always, want to do is remember yourself for the best configuration of you, the authentic you, to show up for the friendship. Respect them. Don't take them for granted. Repurpose. Figure out what is the purpose in the now for our friendship and work for it. A lot of things are not going to just be given to you. And so I wanted to tell you that this last one, reanimate is hard. And the reason why it's hard is because it requires you to do something that you've never done. To reanimate yourself in a friendship is to come with a beginner's mind. The newness of a new friendship, how you're excited and you want to get to know this person. Reanimation of you as not you as a friend is going to be what it takes, even if the other friend is not reanimating. But there's something about when you get to where you see them with the freshness of all these things that you've worked through before, that by the time you get to the reanimation, you don't come off as cuckoo. You come off as invested. You come off as a real one that really wants to have a friendship. And that is how you get friends. Now, to end this out, I want to give you some insights, and I want to give you some homework. The homework is, if you have friends, especially if they're friends you want to keep, you want to make certain that you figure out where they fit. And this list is not exhaustive. There are going to be some friendship traits and personalities that I did not list, and they're fine. But if you can, take your list of friends and figure out, are they the confidant, the motivator, the real one, the fun-loving ally? Are they a legacy friend? And make sure that you understand that inventory, because when you do, it's going to help you to become better at fulfilling what it is that you can in their lives. Okay? If you're like, Michelle, I'm one of those people that doesn't really have a lot of friends. I let life and family get in the way, and now my kids are grown and I need to, build new friendships. What you're going to do is you're going to do it just like the old way. I hate to say it, but you're going to have to get out there and get involved. You're going to have to put yourself in the place where people are naturally congregating. And this is one of the things that I love about where we are now. Even though we have screens between us, if you want to be friendly, get on social media and be friendly. Start being people's friends before they're your friends. Show up. Be kind. Be true. And show up. Now, don't TMI out in social media, because social media never forgets. Oh my God, they never forget. But what you want to do is you want to take every resource that is available to you, and you want to make sure that you work it. Oh my God, you work it so that you can draw friends. And if your objective is, hey, I'm trying to make new friends, and this is me, blah, 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 of course, do it where it's still safe for you. But, get out there and get yourself into the spaces where there are people who are doing the same. Of course, people are going to wonder, well, do I go on dating sites? I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know, because so many dating sites have become so generic that they're basically hookup sites. And if you're on there for platonic BFFs and stuff, it's going to be really hard wading through a lot of the traffic. Now, just give me a moment, because I know this video is getting long, but I just got to tell you a little story. Okay, so first of all, I've told you, I am really blessed with friends. Oh my gosh, I am blessed. Okay. I'm not saying I never want other friends, but I'm saying I'm blessed. And I have this app where I track, because I do intermittent fasting. So I track my intermittent fasting. And y'all, I had to stop posting on there because me, dumb, I actually put my picture, just a picture from the phone on there. And I didn't realize when I was signing up that a lot of people just use little memes or cartoons. I put my face on there. And I had a lot of unsolicited, how you doing? How was your day, gorgeous? So, where do you live? I mean, craziness. And I was like, wait a minute, I signed up for this. And I was like, is this a thing? Well, lo and behold, y'all, I went on there and started learning. So, of course, I had to change, my face to, I think I put a little penguin up or something like that. But I went on there and I started looking, and I was like, oh, okay. There are certain people who want to be friends and more. And they're like, okay, check me on. And there are people that actually put their Instagram handles, like, you can slide into my DM. I'm not assuring you that there's anything that's going to go down, but you can do that. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no clue. This is a fasting app. I had no clue it went down like that. And so I was telling one of my siblings about it. And they was like, girl, and you don't have to pay? She said, that's why they don't, you don't have to pay. And I thought it was funny. But I was like, oh, so this is the way that people find people to interact with and become friends with. I get that. Okay. So thank you for letting me tell that little story. But let me make sure that you understand that You don't want to be socially isolated. And if you've noticed that you've lost your friends or that your friendships are all very surface and you don't have a nice mix, you don't have a good squad, these are some of the things that you can do. So guess what? Yes, I want you to go on and watch this next video because we are on it with this brilliant quest. Thank you guys for also tuning in and watching my podcast, Wisdom Smack, that I've included on the channel. Thank you for making it to this point. I appreciate you. I do this in love to you because you're part of my family, you brilliant beauties and bows. And just keep going and understand that you can have the friends you want now that you know some of the essential types that you need to round out your squad. All right, I'm gonna see you sooner than later. This is Michelle, your big sis with Brilliant Quest. Bye.